Can he now lead this team to a championship? That's the only question left. Joker off a pretty pass from Murray.
Welcome to a Valley Sports Plug Phoenix Suns playoff recap for round 2, game 5. I'm Chris Patrick, and with me is my man Michael Benjamin, here to break it all down for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at how game 5 went down for the Phoenix Suns against the Denver Nuggets. A sketchy start in this one with some questionable calls and decisions. The Nuggets would lead 35-24 at the end of the first quarter. In the second, the Suns looked like they came to compete and cut it to just a 3-point game going into the break. The score 52-49 for the Nuggets at halftime. Unfortunately, the Nuggets understood the assignment and came out on a mission in the third, outscoring the Suns by 14, and the score was 91-72 going into the fourth. By this point, we all saw the writing on the wall, and the Nuggets were able to seal the deal, taking Game 5, 118-106, and a 3-2 lead in this best-of-7 series. But now I'll pass it over to Michael Benjamin for an in-depth look at Game 5.
On the heels of incredible momentum from literally all-time back-to-back performances from Devin Booker, the Suns start Game 5 with a DA turnover, a Josh Okogie missed layup, a backcourt violation, and 4 straight turnovers, which lead to a 9-0 start for the Denver Nuggets. And the Nuggets were active and aggressive, and after the first, the Suns were down by 11. But in quarter 2, the Nuggets start 2 of 14 from the field, shooting 27% overall in the quarter, and a 22-7 run helps the Suns claw back and take a slight lead, but only for a second, and they were down by 3 heading into halftime. And to start quarter 3, the mismatches created easy looks. The Nuggets expand the lead to 10 within the first 3 minutes behind a 17-3 run. The Nuggets shoot 14 of 20, and the Suns find themselves down 17 after the third. And in the fourth quarter, basketball was played, and the Suns lose by 16 in this one to go down 3-2 in this best-of-7 semifinals series against the Denver Nuggets. And with that being said, Chris, I'm going to pass it over to you. I think it's that time that we look into the keys of the game.
In this Game 5, the first key is, well, heck, you know what? There were no keys in this game. The Suns didn't even show up outside of the second quarter. So instead of trying to identify 3 keys, I just got to tell you what I saw, Mike. The Nuggets were simply the better team tonight. Where do I even begin? Our role players were an absolute liability. They can't even hit wide open jump shots. Josh Okogie doesn't belong out there. Landry Shamet is reverting back to his old ways. And all the while on the other end, all of the Nuggets role players were knocking down every single shot they put up, so it seemed. I mean, whether it was Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, or even Bruce Brown scoring 25 points off the bench, how do you let that happen? I get it's on the road. It's in Denver. They're 6-0 at home in this playoff run. The Nuggets are. But the Suns needed to live up to the moment. I wouldn't say this Game 5 was a must win, but at some point we know that we're going to have to take one on the road, and this would have been a fantastic opportunity to do that. The silver lining might be that we still have a chance to win Game 6 and force a Game 7, but man, it just really stings. Some other things that I saw that I'm sure you'll touch on. At times, KD just looked checked out throughout this one. Him and Booker combined for 18 of 43 shooting tonight. And you mentioned Booker's historic scoring the past couple nights. We kept asking, is this sustainable? Is this something he can continue to do? And yeah, we saw him take a shot there late and maybe had affected him in the second half. But besides that, the players around him need to step up when those types of things happen. And Ayton's back to being pedestrian. It's just, I can't say enough bad things about what I saw tonight. Just an absolute disappointment on the offensive end and the defensive end. I just hope that they can have a short memory, come back in 48 hours, and fight like hell in Game 6 to get us back on track.
Chris, you're sounding like a sad dad. You're not mad, but you're disappointed. And I'm right there with you, man. To have the momentum off of Game 3 and Game 4 and to come out flat from the start, it's just an incredibly bad look. And we understand that the Denver Nuggets are the number 1 seed, and they're 40-7 at home this year. they're just a different team at home. They're a different animal, and all their guys come to play. I mean, you already said MPJ starts out the gates and gives them incredible momentum by hitting huge threes to start from the game. Bruce Brown, who completely disappeared both games in Phoenix, had a huge showing, comparative to what Landry Shamet did in game 4. But it was just the situations on defense. We continue to get killed by those give and goes off of the high passes to Jokic. We're not making the right adjustments. And it was general laziness on the defensive end, which was unfortunate. When they started pushing in transition, the Suns' communication was completely gone. Guys were trying to just figure out on the fly which man they were supposed to pick up. And we were seeing some of the same things from the first 2 games in this series. And the tough matter of fact is you have to almost play a perfect, complete game against this team because they have too much firepower. And if you're going to beat them in a 7-game series, you have to have that consistency. And it's something that we have been talking about for a very long time. And it's just the key. Like, we don't have specific keys for this game, but that is the key. Like you said, DeAndre Ayton, yeah, he scores 14 points, but he is invisible, man. Jokic is doing whatever he wants against him. Devin Booker comes back to earth. Kevin Durant, you look at the stat lines, but he's just not the same right now. And we can go back to this man not even playing 20 games yet with this Phoenix Suns roster. So he is really still trying to figure it out. But if we want to get through this series, we have to see Kevin Durant be great and not just good and not just mediocre to his standards. Because I'll be honest, Chris, he had a very poor game tonight. His shooting woes continued. His decision-making was odd. He continued to try and let it fly when guys were right in his mouth, and he turned the ball over way too much. But it's not on him, and it's not on Devin Booker. And we could talk about people might cry wolf and say, I can't believe we made the trade for Kevin Durant. Let's be honest with ourselves, folks. If we have Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, we probably get swept in this series. So you just have to understand where this team is at. And we're going to have a lot of discussions when the offseason comes. But the beautiful thing about this is it's not over. We still have game 6. We're going to be able to go home, get some rest, and rally the valley, baby. I mean, give yourself an opportunity to go into a game 7 and anything can happen. I am worried about going back to Denver and trying to scratch out a win like that, but you just don't know. I mean, Chris Paul could be back by that time and things could look completely different. So this is just one of those games, especially in that fourth quarter when I said it was basketball. I mean, we were seeing the Denver Nuggets basically play Harlem Globetrotters basketball out there. Jamal Murray throwing behind the back passes, everybody getting up for dunks. So this is a flush it game. You don't think about it anymore and you're on to the next one. So Chris, I have optimism for game 6. And after that, we'll see where we're sitting.
So you're telling me there's a chance. Without a doubt, it will be an uphill battle from here. The Suns will have just one day off before Game 6 back here at home in the Valley this Thursday, May 11th. Of course, we'll be sure to bring you a recap for that one the day after. So make sure you tune in, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the Valley sports action. For Michael Benjamin, I'm Chris Patrick, and we'll see you next time. Peace.